Hey, it's Carol, Saltbox Stitcher, back for video number 28. It's Sunday, September 6th, and that's two different things. The first one is it's September, which means it is Sampler September. Yay! I'm so excited. Not that I need a month just to do samplers, because I could do samplers year round. And it's September 6th, which, if you're participating in Women of the Mayflower by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais, today's the day we get on. The ship is leaving, the Mayflower, on its way. So I'll show you my kit a little bit later. And I have no idea. This may be a mess because the grandkids had a sleepover last night. They're still here. They're in their bathing suits. They're out with my husband washing cars and playing in the hose. So they might be coming running in at any point in time. But anyway, I wanted to do a quick video because I'm really trying to do one every 2 weeks. I don't know how successful, and I'm not going to stress myself out about that. That's my goal, to try to do one every 2 weeks. So I just want to show you what I've been working on. What I'm going to work on during September, a little bit of haul, and some samplers. So first I'll show you the things that I worked on at the end of August. If you watched my last video, and thank you if you did. And by the way, I need to say, I haven't mailed the quilts to those people that won the quilts. I'm sorry, I haven't been able to find boxes. I need to go to the post office, all of that. So hopefully they'll get out this week. I know tomorrow's a holiday. Happy Labor Day early. In America, in the United States, it's a holiday. So I will try to get them out this week. I'm sorry, because I know you're probably waiting. But anyway, it'll be a surprise when you get them, because who knows when I'll mail them, but hopefully this week. So on my last video, I talked about wanting to work on fall smalls through the end of August. And I actually got 4 things finished, and 3 of them I got fully finished. Wow. Applause, please. The first one that I finished and fully finished was, you know what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Did I already have this one finished? Maybe I had this finished, but I fully finished it. This is Bittersweet and Broomsticks. I originally was going to put this on a pumpkin that I had gotten from April at Homestead Needleworks, and I just had reservations about using up a pumpkin on something that's really obviously Halloween. So I found this board thing that I had. I've had this for a while. Not sure where I got it or when I got it. It's real thin wood, and it's tight, but it fit on there. And then I put the orange little baby rickrack. It's not perfect. It was kind of a struggle to put that little rickrack on there, but I like it. I am going to try to get some of that orange checked ribbon. Hopefully either Hobby Lobby or Joann's or somebody or Michael's will have it. So I want to tie a bow there to kind of make it complete. So I finished that one. And like I said, I can't remember if I finished stitching that last time or not. I thought that was one of the 4 that I had finished. Who knows? Then I had started Gone Batty, also by With Thy Needle and Thread. I have this one all laced. When I go to Hobby Lobby for the ribbon, or Michael's, whoever I go to, I'm going to try to pick out a frame, a black frame. I did this on 36 count Kermit is the color, by Picture This Plus. The cat and the bats are 2 different colors. I kind of wish that I had done the cat with 2 strands. The pattern calls for 32 count and the whole thing done in 2 strands. I'm okay with it. This is hickory sticks, and this is charcoal, I believe. So this is not meant to be as black. This is meant to be more of a brown black. I went ahead and laced it. I left myself a 1/4 inch for the, the little lip that's on frames, so that the frame should come right to the edge of the bat and right to the edge of the cat. So it's cute. I like it. So that's fun. That's not totally fully finished because I still need to order a frame, but it'll just be popping it in a frame when it's done. And that, if you remember, is Gone Batty by With Thy Needle and Thread. So got that one done. Then I took some of that fabric and I finished Holiday Hoopla Halloween, also by Brenda Gervais, With Thy Needle and Thread. I haven't put the edge of the broom on here. I still need to look for that in some of my doll supplies, and they're kind of at the top of the closet in a Rubbermaid container, so I need to get them out. So anyway, I just popped that in the frame. I actually took a couple pictures that I'm going to try to insert here of as I was finishing this. So hopefully my husband will be able. So I'm going to stop the video. Then that tells him where to insert the pictures. So hopefully you got to see those pictures. But this is also the 36 count Kermit by Picture This Plus. I put just a little witch's hat fabric on the back in orange. I did lace this piece once I got it in the hoop, and then I glued. You'll hopefully you have seen the pictures, just step by step. I don't want to do tutorials on finishing. There's plenty of finishing tutorials out there, and I'm not good enough of a finisher. I'm okay for myself, but I don't want to get into that because I just don't feel like I'm qualified to do all that. The next thing I finished, but not fully finished, was Cat and the Moon, also by With Thy Needle and Thread. This one I stitched on the same fabric as the Bittersweet and Broomsticks. This is 40 count Sheep Straw by R&R. I'm going to put this also in a hoop, but I didn't have that little hoop that the hoopla's in is too small. So I need to get a bigger hoop than that, but a small hoop to fit this in. Turned out cute. The two colors on the hat are, hold please. One is Mossy and one is Cornhusk. Cornhusk is by Weeks and Mossy is by Classic Colorworks. The darker color is the Mossy. And there again, I was fortunate because I had multiple skeins to be able to pull ones that are a little bit darker so you could see it. Same on the Cornhusk, which is the stripes, and the Mossy. But I thought it turned out cute. Little whiskers. The other two things I wanted to show you, because my lighting was so bad last time, was this was one of the things I had been gifted. And I think if you remember at the end of my video, it came out, it looked black. And I kept saying it's red. But this was a gift from a stitchy friend who is just a very, very sweet, very, very, very talented quilter and stitcher. She does a lot of stitching too. So I was very thankful for that. And I'm going to make sure that I showed it on the next one. The other thing is I had questions last time because I showed a little piece and it's not here. It's in one of my other displays, but it was this piece. And these were originally made to be bookmarks, I believe. Like you could use the packaging and actually make it into a bookmark. This particular one is October, which is the one I did. They had one for every month. I think I bought 6 of them. They did come with the linen and the floss, and the floss is silk. So that's what that was. Work basket month. I think it was just called a monthly bookmark series or something like that. So I wanted to make sure I covered that. The other thing is I have a lot of questions about my wall here in the different. So I'm going to see if possibly I can show you the wall. Let's see here. Okay. Fickle finger of fate. This one is by Words of Praise. I am not sure what the name of that is. I couldn't find the pattern. I did that long time ago. This one here is a blackbird. It's in one of their books. I did not go through all my blackbird, but I will definitely try to go through my blackbird patterns. It's in a book. I just can't remember which one. This one is Anne Peg by the Scarlet House. Some of them I actually got off the patterns, but my table is full of stuff, so I'm not sure. If I come across the pattern, I'll show you. So this one is Anne Peg by the Scarlet House. Oops. This one is also by the Scarlet House, and this one is Anna Grader by the Scarlet House. Okay, let me switch to the other side. This one is Frances Poole by With Thy Needle and Thread. Make sure. Hold, please. So that one was Anna Grader by the Scarlet House. I showed you that one. The one above it, right here, is Anne Peg, 1877, also by the Scarlet House. Okay. This one down here is Frances Poole by Brenda Gervais, With Thy Needle and Thread. She hasn't done a lot of reproductions, but the ones she's done are really wonderful. Okay, now we're going to move this way just a little bit. This one down here with the sheep, can you see that one? That one is called Still Waters. It's by Plum Street. Eventually that'll be on my Sunday school wall whenever I get that one done. I have like 6 that I want to do for my Sunday school wall. The one above it is Harriet Elizabeth Coe, also by Brenda Gervais, With Thy Needle and Thread. Harriet Elizabeth Coe. Some of these of hers, you might have to go to her site, which is countrystitchesonline.com. Online is part of the name, Country Stitches Online. The next one above it, you can't see. Okay, let me get over here a little bit closer again. This one is Pink Sparrow sampler, also by Brenda Gervais, With Thy Needle and Thread. And the 2 big ones in the middle, let me move this back. Okay, the top one with the red house, it's called Many Mansions by Margaret and Margaret. And the one below it, right here, is called Good Shepherd Sampler, also by Margaret and Margaret. This one took me so long to do that I actually had to buy a second pattern chart because it was so worn in the middle I couldn't see. It took me a while to do it. I just put it off and put it off. And I have had the gal that owns Margaret and Margaret, now I can't remember her name, forgive me, but she said her patterns are still available. So I think I would just Google them because they're by Margaret and Margaret and Company. And this sampler, I'll tell you a little story about this sampler. This was really the first sampler, one of the first, there's two others, but one of the first that I was so in love with. Lindsay is 34 and she was 2. We still lived in Kansas City. I shopped at a store called Saltbox Sampler, and Alma of the Blackbird Gals, way before Blackbird became Blackbird, worked at this store. I've talked about it before. It had quilts, it had cross stitch, it just had a myriad of different things. They gave classes in toll painting, and it was a small shop, but it was fabulous. This sampler was stitched, hanging on the wall, and I thought, oh my gosh, I was like in love. Bought the pattern, and this one I finished in 1988. So I finished it the same year that I bought it because we moved in 88 and I know I bought it in Kansas City. So it's done on like 30 count because at the time, and with DMC, that's what was available, and so that's what I did. So anyway, that's what I got done in at the end of August, and I did have one more day in August. So I went ahead and started, let me get it out here. My granddaughter's out laughing, so she must be getting sprayed with water. It's kind of funny. They're hilarious. They do wear me out. And my house is usually a disaster area. This is a side note. This morning, she's very creative, my granddaughter. My grandson is all about, he's a boy, baseball, all that. He's 7, she's 5. She's like, Grammy, can I cut some fabric? She goes in my sewing room, which I have tons of fabric, but, I don't want her cutting into 2-yard piece. So I brought her this big bag of scraps that I have and gave her a pair of scissors. She was in there for hours, just cutting, making quilts. It's hilarious. I mean, it's a blessing when, for change, technology is not the main thing they ask for. Anyway, Hilda Boo and Sunflowers 2. I went and had, I got a small start on this one. This is R&R 18th Century Blackbird 40 count with the called for. And I will pick this back up. I hope I'm able to do that in October, once Sampler September is over. I'll get back to that. And of course, my thread keep is a little witch's hat. Too cute. Okay. I have a couple other things in this bag that I wanted to show you, so I'll make sure I get that out. So that's all the fall I did. I was just happy to get that Gone Batty done because that was a lot of not full coverage, but straight stitching. Why does my nose always itch? Oh, I give up. Okay, now that I've made a total mess. Don't you kind of get used to me doing? I make a mess. I talk about my mess. The other one I really want to do, and I have the fabric for it, is this one, Witch's Brew. And by the way, I mentioned when I mentioned, oh, I'd really like this or I'd really like that, like I mentioned last time that Brenda Gervais was out of these spoons. Someone out of the kindness of their heart asked me for my address and sent me a couple of those spoons. So thank you, thank you. I certainly don't want it to sound like I'm trying to beg for things. Same with a feather tree. I mentioned a feather tree and a lady said, I will send you my black feather tree. I was blown away. It's like, are you kidding me? This community is just unbelievable. So, so nice. So, anyway, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, September 1st hit, and as I promised myself, I was going to get back to Charlotte Clayton. So the rest of this is going to be about samplers. Charlotte Clayton. Now, I already had the 2 flowers at the top. I had this whole top section finished. I had pretty much of the birds finished. And I had started on the throne for this cat. So, September 1st, what's today, the 6th? I'm doing it with NPIs. Oh my goodness, I forgot how much I love stitching with NPIs, which are needlepoint ink silks. They come in a skein. I'm pretty sure they're 8-stranded. Some silks are 12, but I'm pretty sure they're 8. I've seen people have it finished, and I just am like loving stitching on this. And I've toyed with stitching on this for a week and then going to a different sampler, but I just don't know if I can. I might just have to keep going on this. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how far I get this next week, because I definitely wanted to put at least 2 weeks in on it. So I have finished I finished this cat over here. And all I have to do is the fill in for that cat. It actually calls for a Krynic. I don't have any Krynic, so I'll have to see. And you only do like a couple stitches around his face. Those open spots. Woo, where's my finger? Right here. Those 2 open spots are supposed to be a gold Krynic. So you wanted to get dizzy, didn't you? So I'm filling that guy in. This is already filled in. Whoops, right here. All of the bottom is filled in. It's just a very, I cannot center it. What is my deal? Okay, let's go this away. I'm kind of spatially challenged anyway. I'm the kind of person that goes in to turn on the stove and turns on the wrong burner. You know, this stove that I have now doesn't, but my old stove used to have 4 dots. And the darkened one is that particular the knob to that burner. My husband would come in and be like, did you mean to have this other burner on? Oh no, no wonder the food's not cooking. He said, well, you're just a spatial moron. Thank you very much. Anyway, so doing this backwards thing with pointing and all that is just like beyond my capability, beyond my pay grade. So anyway, I'm kind of happy with this cat. So once I get him done, then I will move to the middle, which is the tree and the Adam and Eve. And then after that, it's just motifs. So that's what I've been working on. But since it's September 6th is today, if I get any stitching time this afternoon, late this afternoon, we're taking these children back to their rightful owner. You know, it's like too much of a good thing. It's like, okay. Although they were really good. We watched the movie last night. They both went to bed very easily. And that was, because once it hits a late, 9-ish, 9:30-ish. It's like, okay, you guys have to go to bed because I got to go stitch. I love you, but I have to have my stitching time. Or Grammy will be the biggest grouch in the world. And then 7 o'clock this morning, the 5-year-old comes in to my bed and she's like, Grammy. I said, what? She said, I'm starving. You're starving. Seriously. And my husband was already up. It's like, have Papa make you some toast. Oh no, you gotta have Grammy make breakfast. The joys of being a grandma. Okay, I don't even remember where I was. See, they make me crazy. Crazier. So I got my, since it's September 6th, I got my Coming to America. What I started to say is, if I get any time to stitch this afternoon, I'm going to stitch on Charlotte K. Layton. And then tonight, I am going to start this. Because, you know, when they left England, it's a 6-hour time difference. So it makes sense that if I stitch it at night, oh, here they come. If I stitch it at night, would it have been 6 hours earlier? 6 hours later? It would have been 6 hours earlier when they left. So, you know, if I start stitching at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, that would have been 2 in the afternoon. I don't know what time they left. Anyway, I have to tell you a funny story. My dad died a few years ago, and he'd had multiple heart attacks, multiple strokes. So toward the end of his life, he was in a care facility. And so on Thanksgiving, you know, it wasn't actually on Thanksgiving, but they had a celebration at the nursing home. So my dad, being a man of faith, and they said, would you pray for us for our meal? So he got up. He started praying. And all of a sudden, he was doing a tour of Plymouth Rock. He started praying, and Lord, we thank you for Plymouth Rock. Have you ever been to Plymouth Rock? Well, I'll tell you all about in the middle of the prayer. He's telling all about Plymouth Rock. So that is like a joke in our family. Have you ever been to Plymouth Rock? I don't know if he finally wound down and said, thank you for this food, or if somebody had to interrupt him. I can't remember. That was a classic. Anyway, have you ever been to Plymouth Rock? So, Coming to America, I'm going to start tonight. I think Brenda had said, and there's a Facebook group, I think she said if you stitch 9 hours a week on this, that you can finish it by when they landed, which was November 4th, 5th, November 4th, something like that. So I'm going to try to stitch 6 hours, at least 6 hours a week. And then maybe toward the end to see where I am, and then I can put it in high gear. But I'm really anxious to start it. I got my kit from Dying to Stitch. And the piece that I'm stitching in this on is just called 40 Count Coming to America. It is beautiful. I guess Country Mocha, which was what Brenda called for, became a little bit hard to get, or people, it was back ordered. And so Anne called me and she said, is that okay? And I said, perfect. Okay, where are we? Okay, I'm going to show you a few samplers that I have framed. Since I sit in front of this wall most of the time, you don't always see some of the other samplers that I have around the house and in on other walls. So I'm going to show you a few pieces that I have framed. The first one I want to show you, I've showed these in previous videos, and by the way, I have 3 pieces out to being framed. They just got there last week, so it'll be a while till I have them. First one I want to show you is Martha Pudsey, 1835, by the Scarlet House. And it's a big one. And I spent a little more on this frame because I really wanted one that just really shows it off. Martha Pudsey. Let's see what it calls for. Just see what I stitched it on. Calls for 46 count autumn gold. I don't think I used that. I think I used sand dune. It's a lakeside that's fairly, you know, a darker one. I love it. I love the little the border, those little, whatever those, they look like candy, but I don't think it's candy. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Love the Adam and Eve. Love the striped tree. This was very, very fun to stitch. And is definitely one of my favorites. The next one I want to show you, let me put this back in here. I have a big file where I have patterns that I have stitched. I have the full-size patterns separate from the smaller patterns. I don't know why. I just do. So if I know it's a full-size pattern, I pretty much know where to look. This is Sarah Elizabeth Brooke by the Scarlet House. I love Tanya's reproductions. Tanya being the Scarlet House. Love them. So this one is Sarah Elizabeth Brooke. Love the border, love the red house. Don't like the over one, but hello. Love it. The house is kind of subtle, which I really like. On samplers, I don't mind when the colors are a little faded. I know Hands Across the Sea does a lot of samplers that are a little bit brighter. They pick up the colors, I guess, from the back of the sampler, which if over time the sampler has faded, then the colors on the front are going to be more muted, more faded than the colors on the back. I know Teresa Vanette, Shakespeare's Peddler Kitten Stitcher, she likes to pick up the colors on the front because she likes the more faded look. I kind of like both, but I don't like a real bright sampler. That's just me. This one, let me see if I can find, I thought I got off the pattern for this. Let's just see. I did. This is Esther Syer, S-Y-E-R, I would say Syer. This is pretty soft. And this one is by Plum Street. Oops. The pattern's actually sideways on the... It calls for vintage pecan butter or Old Town blend. I think I did it on... I'm not sure what I did this on. It's a fairly light linen, so I'm not sure. I love this, but this was a little... This girl stayed a little bit too long. She wasn't my favorite visitor. This is eyelets. This whole alphabet is eyelets. This band is eyelets. This here, this pink right here is well, you know what it is. I want to say sawtooth because I'm thinking of quilts, but and you're all hollering at me. And then there was quite a bit of over one. So I feel like I started it in 1796. This one took me a little while. And the border was very simple, but I love it. Love it, love it, love it. The flowers actually have a little, the tip of the flower has a little white kind of bud or whatever. Satin stitch. Thank you. Whew. Brain finally kicks in. Anyway, I love it. It's on a wall in my hallway. In my hallway, going back toward the bedrooms, I have a lot of samplers that are out of season. So if I do a big, I have a few out of season ones out here, but not many. I have Yuletide, anyway, the one by Plum Street. She's done Yuletide, Ghoultide. Anyway, I have that out here, but when I get another one framed, I'll probably put that in the hallway. So what I started to say was, in the hallway, I have a lot of ones that are out of season, that are big. So I don't want to store them somewhere. I want them out so that you can see them. The next one is also by Plum Street. It's called the Pink House Sampler. Again, this one has a little bit lighter colors, but I love it. I put my mother's father's mother, so my, I don't know what that's called. It's my mother's father's mother. So her maiden name was Laura Fields, and my mother's maiden name was Thompson. So, and she was born in 1866. So this would be my great grandmother. I love this one. I want to say this was stitched on an R&R. Yes, 40 count Old Town blend. It's a pretty sampler. There's a lot of grass, but grass doesn't bother me. You know, one of the people talk about, well, what's your least favorite thing to stitch? Sometimes for me, it's tree limbs. You know, when you have a big tree, like in the middle, if you have an Adam and Eve, and then you have limbs that are going every which way, and you really have to be careful when you count them. Sometimes that can be I don't really have a least favorite. I guess least favorite would be the way to say it, because stitching is just my favorite. But over one, and then some of those. I don't mind alphabets. You know, if I have 10 rows of alphabets, sometimes they can get a little tedious, but it's all good. It's really, it's all good. The other thing I wanted to show you, just in case you asked, this was a pillow, obviously, that I just stuck here. This was a kit that I got from Shepherd's Bush, and it's from this Tricks and Treats, Brenda Gervais. Now, I'm not sure what count I stitched it on, because it's really a pretty big piece. But it was by Shepherd's Bush, had it kitted up. And actually, you were supposed to do the dress in purple. But because I was just stitching along following the chart, I stitched it in the green. But I think it turned out cute. This one is by, it says, it's a friend stitched it for me. And who does, is it JBW Designs that does those a lot of little alphabet designs? I think that's it, but I'm not 100% sure. So it's an alphabet in the shape of a pumpkin. She gave that to me one year for my birthday, and I love it. I get it out every year. Okay, so this is, so that was just a little bit of fall in there. So now I'm going to talk about what am I going to stitch for the rest of the month in September. I have possibilities, and then I have some whips. And these are just a few of what I could stitch, because I have many. This is possibilities, and I'll show you whips. This is Anne Priest, 1841, by the Scarlet House. My husband actually said to me before this video, no, this is video number 28. How long have I been doing this? 2 years? Over 2 years? And every time I do it, I show the patterns. And he said, you know, you really should take those out of the plastics. Oh, wow, that's a great idea, dear. Oh. Anne Priest, 1841. I do have this kitted. I think everybody kind of makes fun of me about having so many things kitted. I don't care. It's kitted with the called for, which I think is vintage meadow rue, and the overdyed cottons. Where am I going to put this stuff? Okay. The next one is one that I really, really love this. And this is one of those things that's kind of brighter colors. I really like it. This is Hester Kingham. by Samplers Revisited. It's got some pretty bold colors. This looks like it's an R&R. I'm not sure what it is. I'm sorry. Some of these, if they don't have the names on them, I just don't remember. But look at those greens. Can you see them? Green, really bright blue. So for a change, that might be kind of fun. You know, why not? I've seen this one stitched too, and it's gorgeous. I think I saw it at the attic. I'm not 100% sure where I saw it. I really am leaning toward this one, just for something really different. You know, sometimes you see so many of the same ones, and I've stitched a lot of them too. And then it's kind of like, maybe I want something totally different. This is another one that's pretty bright. This is Frances Eden. I know Nicole had worked on this for a while. The other place I saw this, Stitching with Reese, she's Australian, and her local, or one of her shops she goes to, I don't know if it's really local, is the Cruel Goblin. Anyway, the owner was working on this. Fantastically beautiful. And this one I got a silk conversion, but I've kind of tweaked it based on a couple other people's silk conversion. So we have those. See, I can stitch samplers all year long. Not a problem. Now these are whips. Things I've started. You know, I feel like a broken record because I've shown you so many of these before, but I do have new subscribers, and by the way, thank you for subscribing. So this one, I think I showed you this one not too long ago, is Mary Good by Sassafras Samplers, which is Sassy Jacks. And this one, I have a little bit of a start. Actually, I have the border framed out. And the top row of flowers done, and the top row of words. This is 40 count parchment in the Zweigart base. So that would be really nice to start on. And that I'm also doing in silks. These are a Veriswa. Brenda finished this one, Brenda Sampler Stitcher. And it's beautiful. Is it framed? So that's a whip, if I decide to pick up a whip. So I finished Red Deer, so that takes me down to, I think, 25 or 26 sampler whips. And that's all the whips I have. Well, other than that Hill Debut and Sunflower one that I started for fall. This one is my Anne Oriole by GGR. I told you this one. This one is on Olive Branch by Dixie Sampler, and I have a very small start. But the leaves are kind of, they're not tedious. There's just a lot of stitches. And I like to do the leaves as I go along, if they're the same color, obviously. This one is done in cotton overdyes. Beautiful, rich colors. So I definitely would like to get back to that. That was DGR and Oriole. So that's a big fat possibility because it's a big girl. And then, let's see, there's another one, and actually somebody else is stitching this. Who did I see stitching this? This is a 7 Sheep sampler by Scarlet House. I have one side of the border finished. This is done on 46 count autumn gold with the called for silks. And they're basically kind of muted until you get to that pink, the peach, and this kind of gold is pretty bright. And 7 Sheep looks like that by Scarlet House. There again, I've seen that one stitched. I've seen the antique. Gorgeous. So that's a possibility. Here's another kitted piece that I have. This is Jane Cowie. I have it kitted with 40 count Meadow Rue by Lakeside Linens with the called for silks, MPIs. I really want to stitch this. 2 red houses. I mean, hello. A lot of over 1. Which, by the way, and I probably should look it up, because if you follow Country Stitchers, they are, let's see, here, I'm going to find it. What is a Potoki? P-O-T-O-K-Y. Watch their latest video. What is video 104? What is a Potoki? And it's this beautiful stand that somebody hand makes. They're wooden. They're gorgeous. They look like the finish. All of that is just beautiful. And they are giving away some things. They're giving one giveaway to a subscriber of theirs and one giveaway to a floss tuber. So we have to mention that in our video, which I just did, and then we have to put the website. I think that's how it goes, the website in our drop-down box. So I'll try to do that. Try to remember to do that. But they're not going to draw until, I think you can enter through November, end of November, and then they're going to draw the first week of December. So for me, I don't use a stand because I don't use a hoop, but I do use a hoop for over 1. So that would be cool. Or whoever wins it, congratulations. That'll be fun. So that was Jane Cowie by Scarlet House that I just showed you. The other possibility, oh, this is another one that I want to stitch this so bad. So why don't you, Carol? And I don't even have these ringed up yet. These are the Verissoirs. But I'm going to put them in the little floss bags. Even have my Sharpie to write on the floss bag. And this one is Jane Atkinson by Scarlet Letter. Yvette on Instagram is stitching this, and there's somebody else that's Off-Road Stitcher maybe that has it part way done. Not 100% sure what linen to use. I have this piece from Victorian Motto called Old Colonial, which is, it's kind of just a sampler color, tannish. I don't know. I put that with it, but I need to really play with that a little bit more to see if that's what I want to stitch it on. And then, of course, there's always Anne Uffendell. And this one, I actually have a start. Not a big start, but a little bit of a start. Oh, I think it goes this way. Yeah. So I've gone part way down the border. I added a flower just to get a little bit of color. This one is on, it's a Lakeside. I want to say it's light exemplar, 40 count light exemplar. So I could always go back to that one. I definitely have choices. Brenda says we have to have choices. I have choices, no doubt about that. Couple others that I love, and wouldn't mind starting. See, some of these are whips, some of them are starts. This is Adam and Eve by the Scarlet House, and this one is really not that big. On 40 count, it'll be 9 by 13 for a sampler. Some people would say, oh, that's still big, but for a sampler that some of them are 18 by 18 or 16 by 16, 9 by 13 is not that, I mean, it's long and a little more long and narrow. And I have that kitted with some vintage light exemplar and the NPI silks. So this one doesn't have any over one, so that's kind of attractive. But it does have a lot of letters. But like I said, I don't mind alphabets. Another one, and there's a chart out there. This one I don't have kitted. Well, I do have the Tudor silks. Oops. And this one is Patronella Arandes. It's a spot sampler. It's beautiful by Needlework Press. So I'd have to come up with the linen for that. So that probably won't get started when I have so many other things that I have completely kitted. Same with this one. Somebody showed the Duo Devonter or something like that, and one of them is this, which I have the individual pattern. This is Dorothea Lambert's 1806. I don't have anything for this. It's just something I thought, oh, this is wonderful. Somebody's stitching that, and I apologize when I don't know who's. And they're stitching it on beige linen. This is not a big enough piece by Weeks, but this is sort of a similar color. It's a little more green, but I might consider that. That's it. That's enough samplers. So I'm going to show you a quick haul, and then I don't have any quotes this time. Trying to put this together. It's all good, but it just, I didn't get quotes out, and I haven't taken pictures. So next time maybe I'll have some more quotes. I want to show you haul. The first thing I want to show you is not, well, it's kind of stitchy related, but not really, just because you could put stitching in it. I have a friend. She's really a friend of a friend, but I love her like she's a dear friend, and she is. This is a bag that came, she lives in Wales. Her name is Susan Julie. And this bag is Kath Kidson, which I don't know if you can get them in America. You might be able to order them from England, but it's Kath Kidson of London. And this is, it's a yellow bag with white polka dots, but it's like vinyl covered fabric, so you could wash it off. It's a nice size, has 2 handles, zipper pocket. I love it. Kath Kidson is, I guess, kind of the rage in London, so I feel very special. So she got a good deal on it. She picked one out. She sent it to America for me, so I was very excited about that. A couple of the things I got haul. These are just adorable. Hello, I just want to make them talk. Hello. No, this one should have the deeper voice. Hello. Hello. Oh, I've lost my mind. This is by Under the Woolen Willow. And she does totally cute things. She usually posts on Instagram when they're available, because she doesn't make tons of them. So you gotta like get right on it. So if you don't follow her on Instagram, you should. And then check every day to see what she's posting. She does all kinds of stuff. She does tomato pin cushions. She does these. She just, all kinds of cool stuff. But I love these little chenille pumpkins. She said only a face a mother could love. I'm like, well, I guess I'm their mother, because I love their little faces. They're just adorable. So anyway, I had to have them. One sits right here so he can talk to me. And then you know, Kitten Stitcher, she put something's limited on her website. It's like, oh, I gotta have this. So she had some X-Jude flosses that were Halloween colors. How fabulous are these? They have lines so you can cut them out and separate them, but they're so beautiful together. So I got those. Halloween 2020, Friday the 13th collection, hand dyed by X-Jude. I don't know if she has any left, but if she does, jump on it, because they may be limited. And then she also had some X-Jude that were silks that were also Halloween kind of colors, fall colors. Beautiful. And then I got this from the old needle shop because I think it's beautiful. A little heart. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it. It's so pretty just on that card. I ordered a few more things from April, another board, and then I ordered another one of these quilt hangers. This is April at Homestead Needleworks. Love it. I ordered a couple patterns from Not Forgotten Farm. This one, cedar waxwing, cedar waxwing. That's the type of bird. This one is Halloween Queen. I did Tis Spring. I don't have it fully finished yet. It's the same kind of girl. She doesn't have a pumpkin head, does she? Wouldn't have a pumpkin head. Anyway, she's in a blue dress. And this one's Halloween Queen. And then I ordered this one, Basket of Jacks. Tammy Basket Nut stitched this. She changed the basket color, which I think I'll do too with these little pumpkins. Adorable. I ordered a couple pieces of fabric from Seraphim. I'm just going to show you the fabric. If you're really interested, I'll tell you the colors. Well, I'll tell you. One of them is Pampas. No. Pampas. And the other one is, that's a lot of crinkling. This is one of the linens. I got a fat half of that. And then this one is the Pampas. Are they pretty? I'm not sure what I'll use them for. Add them to my stash. And I got my Victorian motto order. The color this time is Shadows, which is kind of a gray brown, light gray brown. 40 count. I got a half yard. And then I got my flosses, which are fall. I'm in the Primitive Farmhouse Pumpkin Patch is the first one. Very pretty. And then I got a bag from the Cross Stitch Nook that I love. I think it's beautiful, a little pretty with a sampler. I think that's it. So anyway, I hope you have a nice Labor Day. I hope my lighting was better. We've tried doing a few things to enhance the lighting a little bit. We didn't get any special lamps, but we've done some. Looks like one of those old houses that you see in movies where they have everything draped with sheets. That's how behind me looks right now. But it does help. So I haven't seen the dark and light again like I had last time. I apologize for those. Those were bad videos. So anyway, I hope you have a good Labor Day, and I hope you get some stitching done. And I hope I'm going to be looking on Facebook on the Women of the Mayflower to see how people are progressing, because I think that's exciting. And one other thing I wanted to say about the Women of the Mayflower, I think sometimes we think, oh, those women were so much braver than us, gutsier, you know, to start out and have, you know, all of their belongings, which was pittance and to start out on that long journey and come to a new land to set up home. Yes, they were brave. But I can't help but believe that some of them were fearful, were anxious. But I think that's one of the things, the men probably were busy doing stuff on the ship and keeping things going, so to speak. And I think the women probably comforted each other. And I think once they got to America, of course, a lot of them lost their lives. And I think that women had a special role in comforting each other, in sharing a lot of their feelings and all that. And in a small way, I think we have a stitching community that does the same thing. And so I'm appreciative. I hope all of you are too. And I think doing floss tube is fun. It's a joy. I gripe about all the stuff, but that's a minor part. It's a joy. And the reason I really started doing floss tube from the very beginning was just to show some of the things I do and to see things that other people do when they have their floss tube. I think it's fun. It's communal, very communal. Community organ. It has a community feel, and I think that's important. So if you're stitching the Mayflower, think about those women as you stitch their names, and which ones maybe were more anxious and which ones were like comforting. So anyway, I think that's part of the whole journey that they did. So anyway, hope you have a good weekend, and hopefully we'll be back in another 2 weeks. Can you believe it? Love you. Bye.